This is my state, this is my team. You know what that means. This is for the black and blue that I bleed. This is for the chance to bring home that ring. But everybody gonna doubt this. So far there ain't been another way around it. We bring heat to the game each week. They just say we ain't got what it takes, we ain't bout it. Well, y'all can just keep saying that we ain't gonna make it, but at the end of the day, this'll be the Panthers nation. You know, this ain't a game to us major players at every angle that you can think of. That's why you hate us. Get out the way of greatness. You can look at our faces and see the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to create this. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but you can save it. Cause even on the darkest of days, you know we're always gonna find a way to tell them what we gonna do, we gotta
All right. We are live, and it's another beautiful day at training camp. How y'all feeling today? Hey, we feeling good? Day 4. We're up in here, man. We're up in here. Hey, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. Also, be sure to check out the Facebook group page, Keep Pounding, in all caps, for in-game posts, polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, as well as schedule updates for the channel. Now, I'm going to go and get to this comment real quick. Cat Where's the Beach pictures? Bro, this ain't Big Cat's channel, man. This is a different channel, bro. I got the same name, but, you know, it's in all caps. I appreciate you, though. Hey, welcome on in. Stick around if you like the content, though. Let's get it. Alright, so shout out to Paul over in Facebook. Appreciate you, man. You a real one. Also, big shout out, since it's day 4, to my guys Calvin and Sergio that I met at training camp today. And back together Saturday. Yo, shout out to both of y'all, man. It was fun talking to y'all and meeting you. I love meeting any new people that I'm promoting the channel to, or haven't heard of us, or, you know, or even have heard of us and just want to meet me up at these training camps, man. I love talking to people, man. It's fun. You know, I'm very approachable, so please do. You know, as long as I'm not filming, which I'm not anymore, so come on up. You know, at any point during training camp, please do. Alright. Real talk, we got a lot to cover today. We got a lot. I'm going to start with the early drills that I saw today. I don't know how many people were able to put up video content, first of all. That, with the new rule going up, I don't know who's actually gotten content up today. But respect to you if you decided to have the courage to put up content, video content, against their wishes. It's ill-advisable, but, you know, if you did it, props to you. You know, I got your back. Yeah, I've been opposed to this whole thing since it first began on Wednesday. So anybody that puts up content that the media people want to tear down, man, I got your back. Alright, so let's start with these drills. The first one I noticed was there was a drill with the pass rushers where they had the tackling dummies up, and you had to kind of slide through them. You know, slide through them with your feet. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. because I haven't seen that one before. And that got my attention a little bit. Because there's going to be some situations where if you're a defender, you're going to have to slide through some of these gaps and get to the quarterback, you know, if you're a pass rusher. So I like that one. Meanwhile, about the same time on the other part of the field, you're looking at the quarterbacks throwing into a net, working on their footwork, working on their accuracy and release. You know, you'll notice some of them just shift around and then throw. If you were there today, that caught my attention because you got to be quick on your feet. You got to release smoothly to where you're trying to throw it to. And I will point out, Baker did have one or two really good throws on that. Oh yeah, it was hot. It's always hot at training camp, man. Always. It's Spartanburg. You know, if you're new to how training camp works, weather-wise, Baker found out real quick with those long pants on. He learned real quick. Don't do that. He should have listened to these people, man. Because I've been trying to tell people, don't come up in there with jeans on and long sleeve shirts. Man, you gonna get a sunburn. I'm not joking. That heat ain't no joke. It was a little cooler today than it normally was because of the cloud cover. And because I did check the weather and it was supposed to rain at a certain point today. Like an 80% chance of rain or something like that. And I think that might have been why they moved it to 11 a.m. today. I could be wrong. Thunderstorms, possibly, was on the radar. But, you know, I have no idea originally what that was supposed to be for. But, yeah, originally it was supposed to be 7 p.m. Which I would have very much appreciated, you know. You know, you go out there in that hot heat. I'm sure the players would appreciate it too. You know, because they've been struggling out in that hot heat every single day of training camp, and it's just grueling. It really is. They're going to enjoy that day off tomorrow, I promise you. But yeah, the footwork and accuracy on the release with the net was the biggest thing that I picked up on in the first 30 minutes. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, Baker missed the net completely, or this quarterback missed the net completely. Man, don't focus on that. Don't focus on that. Focus on the 7-on-7s. That's where your focus should be on. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But, you know, if you just go judge Baker Mayfield on whether you can hit a net or not, come on, man. Don't do that. I also noticed that the defensive ends started shifting into the Peanut Tillman punch-out drill. And if you don't know what that is, and if you're new to the Panthers, it was established by Peanut Tillman back in the early days, where he was causing turnovers. So, basically, you punch the ball out with your fist, you know, underneath the running back's arms, like so. You know, that would be, you know, what you're going to be expecting to see on that drill. Except they're punching the dummies, the tackling dummies. I thought that was very interesting. Excuse me, I haven't eaten anything for a while, so I hope y'all don't mind. But nobody really stood out on that drill. But while they were doing that, the quarterback started throwing to the wide receivers in the end zone, about 20 yards out. And you started to see like some out routes in the end zone, where they do cuts towards the sideline, the edge of the end zone. And if you play Madden, you know pretty much what play this is, because it's one of the most basic ones. I think they listed as an out route. It depends on what playbook you're using, what coach's playbook you're using, but basically it's an out route. Sideline out route. And essentially these wide receivers would have to stop, turn, and cut. And go towards the sideline. And then catch the ball in the process. So there were no problems with that. I was specifically looking at Rashaan Henry on that drill, and he had really good hands, like really good hands. And you'll hear me mention his name again later on, but I'm pointing him out specifically on this particular drill because of his hands. And I thought Higgins, when he had a drop on one of those plays, did come up with a recovery and recovered very well for the rest of the training camp practice today. So I was very happy with that. I mean, you've heard me talk about when players have drops or have issues for a play or two. You've heard me talk about recovering. And when you see a player recover, it's a beautiful thing because that means they learned from their mistake. And you're sitting there going, thank you. Don't do that again. You know what I mean? Let's see you keep that going. Let's see you keep that consistency going, for the rest of the training camp day. I'm going to get to the quarterback battle in a second. Be patient. And, like, one of those examples of what I was talking about is Tommy Tremble, and he dropped a couple of balls today, but I did see him recover a few times too. So, Ian Thomas is another good example from day one. He dropped that one touchdown pass in the red zone drill, and he came back and caught one and got the touchdown. So, props to him, man. That's a beautiful thing. You want to see these guys recover from their mistakes on the very next play and just have that short memory. That's what training camp is about, man. Developing and learning from your mistakes. Mistakes and all that nonsense out of your system before you start playing preseason games and before, as long as you're not developing bad habits, you're not really going to be in danger of being cut. But if you start developing bad habits like multiple drops, multiple, in the case of pass rushers, multiple situations where you don't get past the line of scrimmage, enough times, that's when coaches are going to start looking at you like a piece of meat on that roster, man. And you don't want to be that piece of meat. You don't. Because there's a lot of hungry lions on this depth chart out of 90 players looking for your job. I can tell you that right now. And they get better every single day of training camp. You only got 15 days to impress these people. Okay? Keep that in mind. Make use of them. So that's why I say whenever you see recovery from any player that's making a mistake, give them some love, okay? Give them some support in the form of cheering, whatever you want to do. If you're in the stands, if you're in the fan viewing area, give them some love, man. Don't just do it for big plays. Give them some love for those recovery plays, especially because that'll show them, we support you. You know. So then we started looking at the 7-on-7s. This is where the quarterback battle started to heat up. And Leroy, to your question, who do you think the starter in day one is going to be? I'm going to agree with Matt Rule here. It's too early to judge who's going to be the starter. Because Matt Rule is being really screwy with how many reps that each one of them gets first string reps. So it's hard to tell really who's going to be day one starter right now. But I can say it's between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. And I apologize if you see me eating. I hope that doesn't bother you. But it's going to be between those two. Mm-hmm. Realistically, you saw Sam Darnold first on most of these reps, and then Baker would go second, and then Matt Corral, and then PJ would get maybe 1 or 2 reps. That's what you typically saw today, if you were out there. If you weren't, then there you go. And I did notice Baker had a few overthrows that I was concerned about. And I mean good protection overthrows. And people were open. And you're talking like red zone type plays, right? Red zone, you got 4 downs to get in, to get that touchdown, to complete your reps. He threw a bunch of checkdowns, and I was sitting there going, "Come on, man, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I want to see some medium throws. I want to see some end zone shots. You're inside the 20 drill. A check down is nice if there's no wide open people, or open people. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But don't make your check down your only option and make that tunnel vision. That's where it's going to be a problem, because Sam Darnold had that bad habit of doing that last year, as y'all remember. Especially when you got CMC back in the mix, because everybody's going to be like, check down, check down, check down, check down, and then expect CMC to be CMC without getting hurt, and being out for most of the season. And I'm talking like 75% of the snaps. We were trying to put it in CMC's hands. What do you think is going to happen when that happens? CMC will get injured again. You don't want that. Split the reps, okay? Put the ball in somebody else's hands. Don't tunnel vision it. And I saw a lot of that with Sam Darnold again, and I was very upset with that. I didn't want to say that openly, but, Sam ain't learning. And it's going to get worse when CMC gets put in the starting rotation. And I mean, that's not a slight against CMC. That's just saying, we don't want to rely on CMC too much. CMC can get it done. Yards after the catch. Y'all know how I feel about that. But we don't want to rely on the big dog too much, man. Otherwise, the big dog will wear down, and you'll only get about 6-7 years out of CMC. And that's not good for our franchise. You know, we'll sell high and we'll get some draft picks for him or something like that down the road if that happens. We don't want that to happen. There are people wanting to trade him already. Now here's what I saw from the quarterback competition today. And I'm going to kind of go away from my notes for a second on this one. Because I put this in the video that I put up for today. As far as, yeah, CMC won't play the preseason. Thank you for that comment on that. But as far as getting the blocking about, where he would hold on to the ball too much, he would try to extend the play for way too long. You know, he would have people open and he would just hesitate to throw the ball. And they're exactly right. And these were Browns fans that were running podcasts saying this. You know, so they would probably know better than us since we're only getting our day 4 look at him. Okay? Besides what we saw in the regular season when he was playing starter role for the Browns. But we started to see those same patterns. And I was like, oh boy. Oh boy. Because the second he gets pressure, it's either check down or throw it away. And I'm like, oh no, it's Teddy Bridgewater all over again. It's Teddy Bridgewater all over again. Because Teddy had that same habit. Y'all remember this, where he would just roll out, he would hesitate with the ball, even though he had somebody open, and he would just chuck it downfield over people's heads. And I'm sitting there going, not again, man. Not again. Are we really going to go through another 3 years of this? But as far as confidence and getting the ball out quickly, that goes to Sam Darnold. You know, credit to Sam Darnold on that one today. Because he comes back in after all this Baker reps, and he just says, okay, 1,000, 2 1,000, zip, you know, on every play. And he would find somebody and get it to him. So, for my money, even with all the overthrows that Sam had today, he still had the win for today. He won the battle for today. He didn't win the war yet in the starting job, but he won the battle today. Now, who's to say day 5 of camp and day 6, you know, that doesn't go to Baker, you know? We don't know. But for right now, today, it went to Sam. As far as day 1, when I was out there, I'd have to say Baker won day 1. Because he did toss some really nice balls into the tight ends in the red zone drills in day 1. Now, I wasn't out there for day 2 or 3. I had some personal stuff I wanted to take care of on days 2 and 3. And I did schedule for day 3, and some stuff popped up. So I had to cancel on day 3. But I did end up getting on C3 podcast, though, for the Friday free-for-alls to kind of discuss with the guys what they saw and kind of listen in and learn. So that felt really good to kind of get back into that normal rhythm again for me. You know, with all this toxic nonsense with the videotaping nonsense going on. And I'm not even going to get into that because I'm just going to stick straight training camp right now. I'm not even going to dive into that subject. I could have with those last second thoughts, but I chose not to. That was not the time to do it. You know, because I know one of the guys from C3 was very, very frustrated with that too. And so was Twan from Big Cat's channel, so, but we won't get into that. I want to keep this content friendly here. I want to keep it non-toxic, and I want to keep it straight to the point. So, let me get this comment right here. I still say Baker gives us the better chance between him and Matt Corral. Torian Harris says. I didn't see much of Matt Corral, actually. I saw a few drills from him, but, you know, it wasn't really enough to show me, like, how he's been developing over the last few days. So I kind of want to see that the next time I come out there for the training camp day, either on Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday, I'll be taking a look at him. And I'll be looking for that, because these guys will be in pads starting on Monday. So, that being said, getting back to the 7-on-7 drills, conversation-wise, I saw Chuba get 2 touchdowns today. He looked good. He looked healthy. He looked strong, developed. Really happy to see that from Chuba, man. He looked energized. And y'all have to excuse me because I haven't learned all of these names and numbers yet. I'm still working on it. But you saw a tight end touchdown from Jared Scott today as well. And Jared Scott hasn't really been getting involved. You know, you never hear his name mentioned in the last 3 days. So I was very happy to see that. But the tight ends are getting heavily involved in some of these drills and making the most out of their time in the first 4 days. And that's a very good sign, because people were concerned about the tight end room. I've heard multiple people say that, which I promptly disagreed with, because I've been very supportive of the tight end room since the very beginning. You know, I like Tommy Tremble, I like Ian Thomas, I like the whole 9 yards, you know, of these people. And it's a good crew. You know, and these first 3 days have shown why. Again, while I got people in here, man, shout out to Calvin, shout out to Sergio, who were hanging out with me during this training camp day that I met today. Love talking to y'all, man. That was cool. You know, much love to both of y'all. If you didn't see it in the VOD earlier. Or if you're just watching live and you just came in. Appreciate both of y'all, man. Love your input. But most of those 7-on-7 drills were like red zone situations, second, third down situations, fourth down situations. You know, depending on how far along it goes. You know, if you can't move the ball. And Sam Darnold had a little bit of trouble with getting those first and second down plays to happen. So it ended up being third and fourth down a lot in those situations and scenarios, where he would have to really buckle down and get that ball out of there. And I mean, these were the early 7-on-7s before the defense started pressuring the quarterbacks. You started to really see the heat come down on these guys. So, I mean, we're talking just passing before all that heat was on Um, I already mentioned Baker's internal clock issue there, where C3 pointed it out. He would take way too long to throw that ball. You saw it about a half dozen times today. If you were out there, they're not going to show that in the media. They're only going to want to promote the positiveness, which is okay, because there were a lot of positive plays today. But you got to show all of it. And see, that's what I was doing with my videos when I was recording, is I was showing the good, the bad, the ugly, the whole 9 yards, the whole Wild West of these training camps. Because I wanted y'all to take a look at it and analyze it with me, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and give the guys tough love that need it, but give praise to the guys that deserve it. That's what we were trying to do for the last 2 to 3 years with those videos. So, that's a major tool out of my tool belt that I don't have this year for you guys, and I am so sorry, but that's out of my control. Here's one that I had a problem with. Baker tried to throw it into triple coverage, and it was just tunnel vision on that one tight end. How many times have we seen that? From Sam Darnold, from Cam Newton, from a couple of these other quarterbacks that we've had. That's a major problem. We got to get out of that tunnel vision habit. It's not good. It's not healthy. It starts to build up, and it starts to continue on into preseason, and then it translates into the regular season, where it hurts us during regular season games when it matters. So it's got to stop. We gotta spread that ball around. And I mentioned Sam's no hesitation quick release, which was good. I did see a nice catch from Spencer Brown. That's the name I was trying to think of when I was putting out the video. Spencer Brown impressed me today. He's the one that really stood out to me today as the most impressive lower name on the list. I saw him on a pass block situation shift over and handle one of these big, burly, strong defensive ends without a problem. I mean, he held his own for a good 2.5 seconds against this dude. And I was like, huh. Now why don't we should start testing this dude. Let's have him in on some of these pass block situations. Let's expand on this. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like that right there. He has good hands. He showed it today. And I like where that's hitting. He's starting to show some good traits that we can put to good use in our offense. Even that far down in the depth chart. So what I'd like to see is them expand on some of the drills and have him more involved in them on passing situations. Maybe some rushing drills as well. I want to see more of him, period. Because that right there is a very good first impression. Because I told you, I had no idea who this dude was. I had no idea anything about him when we signed him. I had to do research on him. So, first impression, very, very good. I want to see more drills. Show me more. Uh, Shy Smith got heavily involved today. I was very happy with that. Because I was a little concerned. You know, you didn't hear much from Shy during training camp last year. He was kind of quiet last year. So, you know, after a year in the system, you expect to see a little bit more. And I got exactly what I asked for. He showed good hands. He showed me everything that I saw out of him when he was in South Carolina before he came up to the NFL, which made me very, very happy and confident in his chances of making the roster. Because there was a lot of positivity going his direction and a lot of positive spin and talk about him in the past year. So I'm very happy to see that. So then we get to Matt Corral. Matt had a few nice throws. Yeah, I didn't exactly get all the numbers, you know, of the guys he was throwing to, but and again, if I had video footage, I would be able to run it back and point them out and be able to get the numbers that I need, you know, to give proper credit to the players that deserve it. Or have numbers that I can point out to give tough love if necessary. But, you know. Now, another person lower in on the depth chart today that caught my attention, and this is where the secondary started to step up, really started to step up, was Madre. Number 36, Madre Harper, had a really good pass breakup today. One-on-one, battled him, kept up with him, stayed with him, pass breakup. And that ball was placed very, very well right in front of him. You know, right where it was supposed to be. And Madre swooped around. You know, legally, I might add, this is not pass interference. They are allowed to jump, move their arms in front, and knock those balls down. You know, if you're a wide receiver. So, you know, props to Madre, man. I hope I'm saying that name correctly, because I have a bad habit of saying some of these names incorrectly, but hopefully I got that one correct. And if I do mess one up, y'all let me know in the chat, alright? But, you know, shout out to him. Great day today for him. And then I saw a really good pass into double coverage to Rashaan Henry. That one caught my attention for a couple of reasons. One, you had Baker Mayfield trying to force one into triple coverage, and obviously it was not going to work. So then later, Matt Corral says, okay, well, I'm going to throw it into double coverage, and I'm going to hit that pass. You know, I'm going to find that window that you weren't able to find. And I was like, okay. And this is why Matt Corral is still in the race, ladies and gentlemen. Don't count this man out yet. Here's where things start to get hot with defensive pressure from the line. You're talking about an hour and a half in, right? 7-on-7s. Here comes the defensive pressure from the line. The pass rushers started to really push these quarterbacks a little bit more. This is where the offensive line started to make a couple of mistakes. And you had some false starts today. I didn't see who specifically, but I did see some false starts. And I was very disappointed with that. But, again, it's day 4. Maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, man. But it's something to be concerned about if that continues, though. If these linemen keep continuing on with these bad habits of jumping when the music wasn't even pumping that loud, it could have been a lot louder, like a game day setting. And if you've ever been to like a college game, you know how those practices go. Before those big games on Saturdays, where they just absolutely drive you crazy with the music if you're a player. Yep, that's what we need to get back to. That's exactly what we need to get back to. Test these linemen. I want to see them truly get tested in the NFL again. We haven't done that. And I don't know how the staff is going to feel if we start making a bunch of noise and start really pushing out chants and stuff like that, to rile them up and test them. Keep it clean, of course, but I don't know how they would feel about that. So that's why we haven't really done it. We've been kind of respectful about it. And, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that, Honestly, if it was my team, I would allow it. Because it pushes these guys and it makes them really test their communication skills. At what point do they have to go to silent count? You know what I mean? At what point do they feel like they have done enough communications wise to be able to handle those situations without a problem? Without having to go to silent count. Would that be ideal? And that's one of the things I've been kind of thinking about the last few years is like, what if we tried to do that? I don't know. Maybe again, I'm pushing too hard here, but it's the NFL, and you're dealing with game time situations where you got people screaming from the seats, during regular season games, preseason games, same thing. So honestly, I don't see why not. I realize it's just training camp. I realize it's meant to be just ironing out the kinks. But shouldn't that be the point? Shouldn't we be preparing them for preseason games? Shouldn't we be preparing them for regular season games? That's kind of the point I'm trying to make there. And maybe I'm off the rails here, but excuse me, I'm kind of eating while I'm streaming here, but if that bothers you, I apologize. But I am really hungry. So at this point, you start to see a lot of pressure from people like Ryan Burns, Gross Matos. And you really start to test the dexterity of the line. After the 1.5 hour mark. And this really tests the mentality of the quarterbacks as well. And you could tell, like, Baker was ready for it, but Sam kind of wasn't. You could kind of read his body language. Like, he wasn't really ready for it. But if you watched Baker during one of those 7-on-7 drills that was Sam Darnold's reps, watch his body. If they show a tape of that, watch his body language, because that'll tell you everything you need to know about Baker. Like, and this leads me kind of to my next point about Baker is, and I don't think the Browns fans even picked up on this one. As ready to go as this man is, you know, you could tell he was gung-ho to go in there and get his reps, you know. He was watching Sam Darnold struggle there, and he was like, I want in. You know, he was just like all over the place on the sideline like a hyper rabbit. I've never seen a quarterback like that on our roster except for Cam Newton. Y'all remember he used to do that all the time back in 14 and 15. This dude was ready, man. He wanted all the reps. At a certain point, you just have to slow down, because if you get too hyper and you go in there, and this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. First play in, as soon as he had his reps, takes the snap about 2.5 seconds later, tries to go towards the end zone with it and overthrows it by a mile. And I'm sitting there like, you got to slow down. Think. Throw the ball where it's supposed to go. Next play, he redeems himself. Okay? To one of the tight ends that just happened to be open around the middle of the field. One-on-one. He redeemed himself. And he slowed down. He thought about where he was going to throw it. He stepped into it instead of throwing off his back foot, like everybody's been complaining that he's been doing. And he actually completed it. And I was like, that's what we need to see. Thank you, Baker. Do more of that, please. You know, show me more of that. Because that is what is going to get us wins. That is what is going to get you the starting job. Now, I want to point out, again, yards after the catch. There's a few people that did really well with that today. You know, that made those extra shake and bake moves and started moving past the defender, even without pads on. I was like, okay. And one of those is Richie Scott. And of course, TMJ, Terrace Marshall Jr. Excellent job. You went beyond and above what you were supposed to do on each one of those drill plays. Yards after the catch. When you watch Panthers games, it makes all the difference in the world. I can't say that enough. When other teams somehow manage to limit that, that's where we get in trouble. Because there were a couple of quarterbacks, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, that lived off that because they were game managers. And I mean, if you're a game manager, there's nothing wrong with that. Lean on your players. But try to push past that boundary. But let's see what else you can do. Feeling of being a game manager and everybody's stigma about you. And try to hit some of these medium passes a little bit more than you were. Try to hit some of these deep passes, that you struggle with. Just keep developing. And that's my biggest advice for game manager quarterbacks is keep developing because you're not there yet. If you're a game manager and that's all you do, step your game up. That's how you start moving into these starter roles. Is when you start pushing boundaries and succeeding. So I didn't see enough of that with Teddy Bridgewater, and I didn't see enough of that with Sam. And it's a little bit of a concern. Jury's still out on Baker. Again, I've only been there for 2 days and only seen him in person 2 days. But, let's talk about the rushing ability of Baker Mayfield. On the run plays that he actually did run the ball, he did display decent running ability and speed. I think that's going to be fully shown once he gets in pads and the pressure is really on him with the pads on. Then you'll really get to see, okay, this is his legitimate speed level. Did Madden get it correct? We'll find out. Jury's still out. Again, all these Madden numbers that people have put out, are before these players get put in pads. And I want to make that perfectly clear because I don't think a lot of people have focused on that over this time period. They've only been focused on, okay, you can do physical skills, you can do this and this and this. And I also want to give credit to the people that are, the EA people that are creating these Madden games that have really done a great job of really showing the true flexibility of these players, with their technology. And really showing, okay, well, these players can actually do this, and it would be realistic. The most realistic Madden games you've seen so far. So I do give them credit for that. They're doing an excellent job. I saw some trailers for the new one, by the way. Good job. And I do believe they're getting these numbers accurate, for the most part, for these players. Speaking of dexterity, let's talk about Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson had a great day today. I feel like he had some really nice coverage and pass breakups, and I just have nothing but good things to say about this dude today. He had a great day. Let's shout out Richie again for the for some of the plays he's made today. I was a little concerned about his blocking on the line when you're talking pass blocking. But again, that was a loaded box, so you can't really. You got to take that into account. Loaded box pressure. And again, credit goes to Spider Burns, credit goes to these pass rushers, and everybody that was involved with that. Because they really put the heat on these quarterbacks, and I was very happy with that. You know, that's what we needed to do. In contrast, the offensive line kind of struggled against those pass rushes, except for Corbett. I was very happy with Corbett. Corbett was stood his ground, got the job done. You know, on that offensive line during those major pass rushes and those major blitzes. And that really stands out to me. You know, as we definitely want this dude in the starting five. You know, if he could do that against the heavy blitzes that we're running before we have pads on, I'd like to see what he could do after we have the pads on. You know, can he handle the same type of pressure with pads on in 98-degree heat? Let's find out. You know, we'll find out on Monday and Tuesday. But, you know, so far, credit to Mr. Corbett right now. I'm very happy with him. And let's continue on down the line here. Give credit to Bravion Roy for the interception. And on that particular play, if you were watching the pass rushing on that play, right there, and it affected the throw. It affected what he was trying to do. He didn't have the time to really get that ball where he wanted to get it. So, you know, pressure. Credit to Brian Burns on that play. Credit to Bravion Roy. Very impressive. Let's see. And then we started to see a lot of run blocking. You had CMC come in. You had Chuba get some touchdown runs. And I thought, you know, without pads, this offensive line looked real good run blocking wise. Again, it's early. You know, first week, it's early. This could be bloated as a statement right now, but once you get into week 2, we'll start to get a real good look at, you know, are these guys hitting their gaps correctly? Are they, you know... And again, this wasn't in 98-degree heat. This was in like 86-degree heat. So that humidity starts to take effect when you have pads on and you start to sweat once you get to that point. That's when you're going to find out, are these linemen really getting the job done on run blocking? You know, we don't have an accurate comparison until then, in my opinion. But getting back to Corbett, you know, he made a huge difference in run blocking. If you talk about the ISO play or the sweep play, a little bit of... No, it was an ISO play. It was an ISO. To the left side, and if you were paying attention during that particular play, if you were there, Corbett, what an incredible block to open up that gap. And it just made all the difference in the world. This man went from like 0 to 30 in 0.5 seconds at running back with that block. As soon as he saw it, zoom, and nobody could touch it. Nobody was within 5 yards of him. And I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. Corbett. That's what we need to see when we get those pads on Monday. I need to see more of that. You know, show me you can do that in pads in 98-degree heat. Then I'm going to really be on your side. And I'm really going to give you some credit at that point. Because that's going to tell me, you know, we got a solid starter right here. And I know this man's been a veteran with the Rams. You know, he's got his Super Bowl ring. I ain't even worried about, you know, what he did before he came to the Panthers. I'm worried about what he's doing as a Panther. And I say that about every one of the people that's in a Panther uniform right now. I'm focused in on tunnel vision. What are they doing in Panther uniforms? We're day 4 into training camp. Now is the time to focus on just that. They've signed our contracts. They're in our building. You know what I mean? Let's see what they can do in a Panther uniform. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that viewpoint, but that's the only way to look at it. Realistically. So again, I mentioned TMJ, Terrence Marshall Jr. I was very happy with what he was able to do today. Good day from him. You start to see Chuba, you start to see Spencer get involved with the running game, and it was very, very nice. Yeah, I saw what I wanted to see out of these running backs today, and it really made me happy. And the reason they were spending so much time with CMC on those reps is basically just to show people, oh hey, CMC is back on his feet again. He's healthy. He's ready to go. He's just as fast as he ever was. You know, and that's what I was looking to see on day 1, and I got to see that, and I was like, yes sir. Love that. Love that. You know, we have missed this man so much. You have no idea. If you're not a Panther fan and you're just joining in, you know, and you that love this man so much. When I saw him come over for autographs and spend that extra time just talking to people and getting autographs today, you could see the love for CMC during that time period. When you saw this man get his first reps in Back Together Saturday, you know, you could literally hear the crowd just love every second of watching him play. You could feel the energy. You could feel the return of that love that we've been missing for 7 or 8 weeks, man, of last year's season and throughout the entire offseason. And granted, there were a lot more people at that camp today than there normally would be during those 98-degree summer heat Saturdays, you know, or regular training camp days of the week. So, more people got to see this. And it made all the difference in the world. when CMC showed that love right back. I mean, it melted my heart, man. As a Panther fan, it melted my heart. So, I'm very pleased to see him back on his feet and doing the best he possibly can right now to revitalize this team. Retake over that leadership role, you know, and just do what he does. I mean, thus far, if you're talking like without pads, this offensive line did a lot better with run blocking than they did with pass blocking. For the majority of today. Now, that's not to say they can't pass block. Because for the majority of today, the pass blocking was pretty good. We did see Deontay Brown get in there too. And he held his own too. But that's one of the names I was looking for on the offensive line. I wanted to see how he would do. And then again, that pass rushing ramped up. And it caused an incompletion, you know. Credit to Barno on that one particular forced incompletion. Because he really turned up the heat on that one pressure play. And I was like, okay. Barno's one of those people I was looking at because he was that 7th round draft pick, if you guys remember. And I was like, let's just see what this dude could do. He's fast. He's physical. But he's kind of undersized, right? That's why he went 7th round. So to see him make that big play today really put a smile on my face. Like, okay, we made the right decision by drafting this guy. Because if he could make more plays like that, especially in pads and in 98-degree heat, I think we got something here. You know what I mean? Like, that's very positive. I got a lot of positives today to talk about, man. I also want to credit Mr. CJ Henderson on an attempted pick in the end zone. That was impressive. And I mean, you've seen some of these out routes towards the sideline when you're in the end zone, the very front of the end zone. That's the type of situation we were working with here. And it was on the right side of the end zone. So I'm trying to paint you guys a picture since you can't visually see it. And the media will never put a video of that up. But CJ Henderson almost caught himself a pick on that play. It was such a narrow window. And CJ just reached around and almost caught this thing. And I was like, it's about time, CJ. It's about time. Because we know you got the hands for it. We know you got the speed for it. We know you can go one-on-one with people, man. Show up. You know, and he did. He did today. I was like, credit to him. So, I've already talked about Baker. Let's see. Oh, let's talk about Freeman. Let's talk about Freeman real quick. And I want to cover this because this caught my attention. You know how when some of these running backs and wide receivers and tight ends just beat themselves up after they drop a ball? This dude, Freeman, was rolling out towards the sideline and dropped the ball that was placed perfectly in his hands. And he just goes, you know? And I'm going, okay. Okay. You can beat yourself up a little bit, but you gotta have that short memory, man. You gotta recover. You just can't. You can't keep beating yourself up. Otherwise, it's gonna turn into more negativity. You know. You gotta come out and show everybody and the coaches, I'm not that guy that drops balls. I'm not that guy that runs the wrong route. I'm not that guy that can't stretch out and make plays. You know, so next play, I got to come out there and be on fire. And recover. And show these coaches I'm not dead meat. You know, I'm not dead weight on this wide receiver core. And he did that. So, again, that's another opportunity that he did not waste. And that's excellent. You know, give Freeman credit for that. And I saw good pressure from y'all gotta give me a second. I don't know all these names yet. These newer names. Isaiah Mobley. Yeah. I saw a really good play where he put some good pressure on one of these quarterbacks. And I was very pleased with that. On that particular set of 7-on-7s, I was watching the defensive ends because they were putting heavy pressure on the quarterbacks. And I was kind of watching the speed of these defensive ends. I was kind of watching the technique, the physicality against the linemen. And I saw exactly that out of Mobley. So, you know, props to him on that particular play. That right there shows me that he may be ready to start pushing the boundary and start doing a little bit more. So I'm very happy with that. Let's go to the chat. I'm afraid J.C. Horn will be a bust. Yeah, it's interesting. They were talking about J.C. Horn on the C3 last night. And there was a guy saying that he wanted J.C. Horn traded while he was still hot. You know, sell high. And everybody's just like, nah. Because here's the thing. Let's compare him to CMC that's had a lot of injuries. And this is exactly the same comparison they used. Excuse me chewing food here. But CMC had those foot injuries and major injuries that cost him the majority of the season. But we've seen what CMC can do when he's been out on the field in his prime. Okay, we know what he's capable of. We know how he has an impact to change the game. They were saying the same things about what J.C. Horn was capable of doing. Right? So, with J.C. Horn's injuries being as minimal as they are, but still enough to put him on the PUP list, or the PUP, whatever you want to call it, that to me says we haven't seen enough of J.C. Horn to say, okay, wait a minute. Is this dude an injury risk? Is he capable of playing? What are we dealing with here? And all these other 31 teams are looking at him the same way. So if you wanted to trade him, they would be asking those same questions that we're asking right now. You're looking at the same thing. And I just think they made some really good points last night about that. So no, you don't trade high on J.C. Horn. No. It's too early. It's too early. We haven't seen enough of him to justify whether he is still worth that first round pick or not. We haven't seen enough of him to determine is he an injury risk. We haven't seen enough to determine whether he is a bust or not yet. Point blank, we just haven't seen enough of him. How can we judge? How can any of the other teams judge? So, I mean, those are solid points and solid questions that you've got to ask, that everybody's been asking. My opinion is Shaq is not the linebacker for us. Okay, let's talk about Shaq then. And again, I'll point out the linebackers were kind of silent today, but except for Bravion Roy. But that's not to say that they won't be silent on Monday or Tuesday. Maybe they'll start turning up on Monday and Tuesday when the pads are on. But if you're just judging by the first 4 days of whether Shaq is it or not for us at linebacker, you got a whole nother how many seasons that Shaq has played that you can judge him on. Instead. So, if you're brand new to Shaq and you're just judging him on those 4 training camp days, look further. Alright. As we look further at Shaq, he was an understudy of Luke and Thomas Davis, and also A.J. Klein. So, he was kind of that 4th quarterback in the group, picked up by Gettleman, in the draft. So, that being said, Shaq had the potential to grow into a leadership role over that time period. And like I said, I've had my issues with his tackling abilities. No, coverage abilities, my bad. Coverage abilities. I had no issues with his tackling, but his coverage issues were a nagging problem for him for about 3 to 4 years. And he's slowly improved on them, but he's still got a little ways to go, in my opinion. He was silent today. But again, I think that's because they didn't have pads on. Same with the other linebackers, because you typically would see something from Luvu at this point, but nah. So maybe if you want to point out something positive about the linebackers, maybe it would be coverage. Because mostly the ones that scored on offense today were off of defensive linemen, defensive one-on-one coverages. Whether that be corners, whatever they may be. But linebackers mostly no. So, now I want to talk about Zylstra. Zylstra got a good catch today. You guys know I've been high on this dude. And I also want to give credit to Mr. Woods at safety, man. Woods had a good day with that one play right there. And I want to see all of those first plays turn into second plays. You know, can you keep the momentum going? Can you keep doing the same things positively that you've been doing? You know, turn that into a positive habit. Turn it into okay, how do I break this glass ceiling? Or how do I move forward? How do I keep going? How do I create that train movement? You know, that's going to take me to a 53-man roster spot. And I think Woods has already got his spot. You know, he's just trying to show off a little. And that's good. You know, you're not really that concerned about Woods losing his safety spot. Come on. But the fact that he made a play today shows me he can battle one-on-one with just about anybody and get it done. You know, in red zone situations. So I was very pleased with that. And that, again, that was one of the major issues that we had last year with Sean Chandler. If you guys remember. That I went ballistic on last year. I had several rants on that. So to see Xavier Woods get that done in one training camp play is a great sign of going forward for that particular problem and trying to solve it. I've got one more really important point to make about day 4, and then I'm going to start digging and finding info on days 2 and 3. And then we'll maybe see if we get some time to do these pressers and stuff like that and try to break them down. And whatever video footage they put out in the media. And my last point for day 4 is this. PJ Walker. You will remember me making several rants about hospital passes. Well, today he did the exact opposite of a hospital pass, which was not even getting it across the offensive line. And I saw that 3 or 4 times today from 2 different quarterbacks. Not just him, but Matt Corral as well. Now, Matt Corral, you expect that from. Because he's not used to the NFL. This is his day 4. You know what I mean? He hasn't had many reps. I'll let that one slide. But PJ Walker has been here for 3 years now. If he hasn't learned that you cannot complete passes by not getting it past the offensive line, and you got to get that ball up, you know, come on, man. It's either he doesn't get it past the offensive line and they knock it down, or he overthrows it into the stands into some Jolly Green Giants lap in the stands. Like, come on, man. Jeez. We gotta find a way to get this dude straightened out. We got 1 more year with him. Because as Corey McKinney says, this is his last year of combined 3 years of practice squads. Otherwise, you're out. So, with the overthrows, he tried to undercompensate that by not getting it past the line. Where's the balance, PJ? You guys remember back in 2020 when this dude was throwing darts? I mean, frankly, that's why he started and won 2 games for us. 2 easy games, but 2 games nonetheless. So when you cannot control your throwing power, you're in big trouble. You're not making a 53. And I think at this point, I think he realizes this. Matt Corral's going to beat him out for that 3rd spot. So my question is, can you get that straightened out, go into a training camp somewhere else next year? Because we're probably going to end up dropping him. The one quarterback that's actually won 2-0 for us, which, I mean, for all the PJ fanatics out there, I'm trying to give y'all your due credit. So we would be losing that. But frankly, in my opinion, we're not losing that much. This dude has not found accuracy in a while. Until today. On one of his last 3 throws, he connected with a wide receiver in the end zone. And that wide receiver was Rashaan Henry. So, it was a deep pass. It was straight over the middle. And he hit him right on target, right on stride. And I was like, that's the PJ I know. That's the PJ I remember from 2020, baby. I was like, where has that been? Where has that been for 2 years? I was like, it's about time. I need to see more of that. I need to see more of that right there. Alright, that being said, that wraps up my notes on day 4. And Jeremy Chin gets to count his interception today. That's a beautiful thing right there as well. Let's go. See, I love that right there. Davion Nixon with his son. That's a beautiful moment right there, man. Oh, that's cute. You know, how many of y'all are dads out there or parents? That's beautiful right there, man. I gotta give that a heart right there, man. That's what's up. I'm gonna follow Icky. Obviously, I'm gonna follow Luke. I'm not on Twitter that often, but oh, they're giving away a Jeremy Chin one. Sign helmet. Okay. I was over in that area where he was signing that at. Alright, so they got Icky to answer a question. I'll just quickly. Hold on, let me make sure y'all could hear this. There we go. I'm going to run that back. Alright. So, they're talking about what's the difference between this training camp versus whatever he was doing with before. Alright, so let's listen.
You know, I always want to be a running back. Icky Woods was a running back for the Bengals, so I always want to be a running back, and I was running with the ball one day, and my coach said I looked like Icky Woods. Ever since the third grade, that nickname just stuck with me.
Okay. Can you teach me the shuffle?
Yeah, I got you. I use a pen. It's supposed to be a football, but I use the shuffle right.
Okay, yeah.
So you go two to the right, and then you go two to the left, then you go back two to the right, then you go jump up, then you go spike it.
Okay.
So I don't want you to do what your mind. I don't want you to do
I do it. It's mic drop. It's
okay,
the perfect mic
throw it
drop.
on the hip, and they just get a little wiggle with the hips.
Wiggle with the hips.
And I think he had a little finger wiggle, something like that too.
Finger.
Yeah, they do something. All right, how you do it?
This is a good teaching. Let's do it together.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let me get a pen.
Use mic a pen. Yeah.
Right, left, right, jump, spike. Yeah, get a little shuffle there. You got it.
Icky's just having some fun, man. I love it.
I just want to be running back, and I was.
Oh, I love it. That's beautiful right there. That's one of those special moments where you try to get to know one of these newer drafted players, and it's just beautiful. Icky's the real deal, man. He's authentic. He's an awesome dude. Everything they say about him, you know, when you see him in person, he's exactly the same person that you think he is. And it's just so cool, man. Yeah, they asked Bradley Bozeman a question.
Crazy over there, so it's awesome. I mean, you can hear them right now. They're going crazy over there, so it was awesome. It was good to get everybody out, get out here, and get a competitive environment. It's been really good. So really good, feeling really good. You know, I've done some good things. I got some things I can definitely work on. But going into next week, we'll strap on the pads and we'll really get after it. So you really kind of see how it's really going to develop and see what's happening. So next week, so we're excited about it.
So is next week like the real start of training camp once the pads come on?
I mean, this is real. Don't get me wrong, but it's the real within the real next week. So it's everyone's going full speed.
The real within the real. I like
the first
that.
Couple days for sure. I'm sure it'll draw back and we'll get into more of a practice routine. But I know everyone's ready to get after it. So
they're gonna get after it, man.
We got a long ways to go. Like, don't be wrong, but there's so many promising things that are happening. The guys are working their butts off every single day. Coach Campton is pushing us every day in our drills, in position, in team, everything. He's really getting after us and making sure we're doing the little things right. It's been all around a great experience. It's been a very competitive experience. Everybody's, kind of jockeying for position and, really trying to show off what they can do. And I think the biggest goal for the offensive line, each individual, is to put their best foot forward, put everything they can good on film, and let the coaches make the decision, not let it come down to anything else besides, who's the best five. So I'm riding home with my wife. She's got the car ready to go. We'll go back to the house, just hang out, maybe go grab some dinner tonight and just chill on the couch tomorrow with the pups. So.
That's awesome, man.
They're both great competitors. They're both vocal. They're both good quarterbacks. So they're just competing every single day. They both bring their own individual things and things they're better at than the other, and things are not so good as the other, obviously. So the guys they keep competing. They keep showing off every single day, and I think they're in the same boat as us. They're just trying to put their best film on film and just kind of letting the coaches make those decisions.
I like that. I like that answer. He's real with it. He's not dancing around the question. He's not he's not saying, oh, there isn't anything bad about any of these quarterbacks. Nah, that he's not going to mention. You know, it's not. If you don't have anything good to say, then don't say anything at all. Type mentality. He's real with it, and I respect that right there. I respect that. Because that's how we are right here, man. We want the ugly truth, you know? We want the ugly truth over the passive lies, you know, that some of these coaches put out there, you know? We want to know what's really going on. And Bozeman really just said, this is exactly what's going on. He didn't sugarcoat it. You know, he didn't dance around it. He said, they're bringing both the good things and the bad things. And that's the answer I'm looking for. Thank you, Bradley. Thank you. Respect to this man right here. I like him. He's going to be real with us. I want to hear some more press conferences from this dude. I want him to answer a few questions.
Both great in their own ways. You know, I don't really know what else to say besides that.
He already answered that question, bro.
Not necessarily. You know, the schemes. You know, there's definitely a lot more adjustments and things like that. But it's been good. It's been great to try to have an answer for things that typically you don't. You know, we're just trying to perfect those and just trying to just continue to work on the little things and make sure we're getting them right. So. So I've been all at center so far. You know, we're just rolling through. You know, just kind of splitting reps, and I think everyone's out there just trying to put their best foot forward. Anybody else? Good? Awesome. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Good questions, man. Good questions, good answers. I like this dude, man. I want to hear more from him. I don't think there's anything we can really get out of Matt Rule's press conference there, but oh, there's that pick. There's that chin pick. Hold on, let's break that down. All right, now you see DJ is sitting here ready for that ball for way too long. Here comes Jeremy Chin. Look at that speed. Look at this speed. That's what I want y'all to see. Look how quickly he got over there. Darn, boy. Look at that speed. Flex that speed, Jeremy Chin. Look how much of a... Look how much he had him beat. Before he even started running. Jeremy Chin's the real deal, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. Oh, they put this day 4 on NFL Network. All right. And here's that pass that Shy snatched out of the air right there. That was beautiful. And you can kind of look at Sam Darnold's foot movement, his hands on that play. And this is after Sam had like multiple overthrows, right? So that's where Sam just finally settled in and he said, okay, I need to slow down a little bit because this ain't working. So I'm going to work on my hands. I'm going to work on just tunnel visioning my options out there. What's out there? Just right on target. It might have been a little high, but Shy says, no problem. You know, and that's what we want to see more of. You know, when you're talking about Sam Darnold, he's got his problems with overthrows, but he never really had a problem with the internal clock that much. You know, not as much as Baker does. And like, he'll get the ball out, but the problem is he won't get it to a wide receiver. He'll get, most of the time that ball will hit the ground. So that continues to be the issue for Sam Darnold, and I really do hope he gets that figured out. But today he's still showing that no hesitation in the pocket. And that's what you want to see as well. Is no hesitation, just know exactly where to throw the ball. You know, whether you get it there or not. That's the next step. And I didn't even realize I wasn't following the page. I'm not on Twitter very often, y'all. So let's look at Icky here. Nice drill. I like that. I like that. That is one of the biggest and most amazing throws I have seen in a while. In what we're doing in Panthers. Quarterbacking. That was Baker right there. Look at the footwork. Look at the hands. Splash. I mean, that's what you want, man. That's what you want. Now, it's going to be a lot of media stuff, so taking a while to get that picture up. But, yeah. It was like one-sided, now it's two-sided. But yeah, you had CMC doing some autographs today. You had D-Jack was over there for a bit. Brian Burns was over there for a bit. So that was really cool, man. I love that. Carrying that helmet and the ball for him, man. That's what's up. That's what's up right there. I don't know what the significance of why he was allowed to do that, but or is he a family member or what's up with that? But that was cool. I will be running it back because Steve Smith was in the booth today, and I did not get a chance to listen to him. So I will be running that back after I stream. Probably tomorrow. I'll be watching a little bit of that and just trying to learn a little bit from Steve. Because I was physically there, so I was not able to watch it. So what else? And Sam Mills is going to the Hall of Fame, so we're excited about that. For sure. Keep pounding game. Honoring Sam Mills is against the Cardinals. And I think that's a great game to do that on. And here's why. Because that game could be a 50-50 game for us on our schedule. We don't know if we're going to win that one or not. I mean, there's always that chance that we could. So I'm excited. Shaq passing on the lessons he's learned from Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. Excellent. That's what we're looking for right there. Thank you, Shaq. I'm very happy to see that. Because I'm sure he's learned a lot from these two during that time. These two legends in the game. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm curious to see what he actually learned. Let's take a look. He says, when I first came here, the leadership was already there. I had two great leaders in my room alone. It's not what I want. That I wanted to do it. It was just handed down to me in that room with Luke and Thomas Davis, so it fell to me. So now I have to become that leader. That's what's up, man. Me and Littleton, we used to watch TD and Luke, and it was crazy. Our linebacker coach was a big fan of TD and Luke, how they played, their tenacity, their grind, their grit, how physical they played downhill and covering. Yes. Yes. So it was crazy when I got here. I was like, wow, man. We used to watch you in college. It was crazy. I had a little fanboy moment, and then it was bigger than that. When we hit that field, we realized that they expected of me, being a first-round pick and all that, I had things to do. I had to grow up quickly. That's very true, man. It's very true. Those are huge shoes to fill, man. I'm trying to tell you. Luke said that's kind of where he is now. Like, wow, I'm the old guy now. What? Which is good, though. It's kind of fun. There's such a process of being a player. You're the young guy. You sign a deal, and you're like, I'm going to be here now, and I'm the older guy, and gets to teach the young guys. He's done a good job of that. Luke said that Shaq was a quick study. It talked about his transition with the two-way player in college to being one of the most versatile linebackers he's played with. Wow. That is high praise coming from Luke Kuechly himself. You know, the man himself. My favorite Panther. So, he was very excited to learn. He was excited to do whatever he wanted him to do. Whether he played inside, outside, in the slot. But football was easy for him. He understood it really well. And had for a young guy to come in and do like he did and pick it up was impressive. When we played in the NFC Championship game here, Thomas breaks his arm. Shaq didn't get any reps at all that week, and at Will linebacker, because he was playing the slot the whole time, and he literally trots onto the game like, I got this. And he got it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I mean, all of this is coming from Luke. Y'all gotta consider that right now. This is high praise coming from Luke Kuechly. I just think he loves football. I think certain guys just pick it up naturally. He's one of those guys that conceptually makes sense to him. He can see the game really well. I'm sure him playing on all sides of the ball helped him. You saw him from the secondary in college. The second level as a backer. You saw it in the slot and the nickel. And then from an offensive perspective. I'm sure he had a good feel as a running back for where he's trying to get to. And I'm sure that translates to playing defense. I love this article. There's so many positive things coming from some of the legends, of the game here. Talk about Shaq. And again, he doesn't mention the coverage issues, but he tries to keep it positive, but he highlights all the good things. And that's what I want to point out here. Because there is a lot of good for Shaq when he was developing. I'm not really going to go through Matt Rule's statements on him, but Shaq had to say, my mindset has always been the same since I got here. Somebody's coming in to take my spot. Exactly. Exactly. What did I tell y'all? That's the mindset you gotta have. You gotta stay hungry. This man is staying hungry. Speaking of hungry, get you some Domino's pizza. Man. Shaq is staying hungry. Look at that. This is the way I feed my family. I'm not going to let somebody come in here and take food off my plate and my kid's plate. Yes, sir. Even in year 8, somebody they drafted is trying to take my spot. That's always been my mindset. Yes. Can we translate that mindset to all 53 players? Everybody on this training camp roster right now? Can we do that? That's what I want. That's what I want right there. I want everybody to have that mindset. Whether you made this roster or not. In the past. Whether you were a rookie. Whether you were a free agent pickup. Whatever you may be. Same with this coaching staff too. Show me how hungry you are to stay where you are. There's always somebody to watch your spot. Yes, sir, Shaq. Well said, sir. What to imagine this? He's not gonna let somebody come in here and take food off his plate and his kid's plate. Imagine that, man. If you're a player, think about that. Image-wise. You gonna let people do that? You gonna let people do that? That's what I'm talking about, man. Brian Burns knows what I'm talking about too. Because this dude is lighting it up. He ain't satisfied. Remember what I said about not being satisfied? This dude was upset because he didn't get double-digit sacks last year. That is what staying hungry looks like. That's my dude right there. That's what's up. That's a lesson that came down from Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly, and it transcended football. Yes, sir. Remember what I keep telling y'all, some of these lessons transcend football, man. That's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. They just had an understanding of the game, formations, and how people attack us. It's also understanding work ethic, how to be accountable, understanding nobody's bigger than the team. We're all here for the same reason. We all have the same goals. Yes, yes, and yes. To all three of those things he just said. Yes. That's what I need to see out of every person on this 90-man roster right now trying to make this team. When we get 53 people with that mindset right there and put that mindset into action on the field, that's when you start to see results. And the way we play, the way they practiced is standard. That's what everybody follows. They had a formula. They had a standard. They had a way of doing things. And they didn't deviate from it. And Shaq says, hold up a minute. I could do that too. I could do that too. Anybody could do that. So now he is taking that knowledge and he is passing that on to this 90-man roster right now that's trying to make this team. Props to you, Shaq. I love you for that right there. I love you for that. I want to give you a big hug for that right there, right? Man. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what we need more of, man. That's character right there. That is character and that is dedication right there. That's the type of leaders we need on this team. If we want to start winning, if we want to start winning consistently, if we want to start taking this division back, if we want to actually make a playoff run, if we want to get to the Super Bowl, if we want to win the Super Bowl, we got to have leaders like that right there. And it don't just stop with our players, man. Every week, you play a team that wants to take that food off your plate. They want to keep you down. They want to keep your whole team down. Every day at training camp, you go run into a player that wants your job. How hungry to keep that job? That is your livelihood. I don't care how much you're getting paid. You could be getting paid a nickel. And some of those guys go harder than the people that are getting paid $15 million. I'm trying to tell you right now. Those people want it. It's not about how much money you're making. It's not about how long you've been with a team. It's not about what you did before you became a Panther. It's about what you're doing right now. And how hungry you are to keep your job. Or to gain your job. So let's see it. Let's see an entire 90-man roster show up just like that right there. That's what I need to see in camp. Every year. That's what I need to see out of a 53-man roster at the end of training camp. That's what I need to see all year long. Keep that mentality. Keep that work ethic. Keep those positive habits going. Shaq, man, I love you for this, man. Thank you so much. That really... That lit my fire right there, man. That motivated me. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. That got me energized in everything that I'm doing. And that's a very, very good thing. I'm glad I read that, man. I'm really glad I read that. And also that video of CMC trading, you know, the Oreos, you know. It's more than just a snack trade. It's a memory. You know what I mean? They're going to remember that forever. Yes. Yes. That's what these training camp moments are, man. This is why this is so beautiful. This is why we have fan interactions with these players, man. This right here. It's just so awesome. You keeping these fans in love with this team. You keeping people. You're giving memories to these guys, man. As players. You know, and it's so awesome. And if you're a new fan of the team and you're like, and you're getting an opportunity to interact with these fans as players, the new people coming in, this makes them a fan forever. Forever. This is exactly the beautiful thing that Cam fed off of when he was doing regular season games. Like, he would hand out footballs after touchdowns. Like, that is a beautiful tradition that we need to keep going with. Absolutely. Same with training camp. Do not lose these interactions with these players, man. I'm telling you. You could feel the difference last year in training camp. When they weren't allowed to sign autographs, when they weren't allowed to take videos and pictures, you could feel the energy just change in a very negative way. And I'm sitting there like, man, this sucks. Like, I'm not going to be able to one-on-one talk to these guys, man, and get to know them and share stories, share opinions with them, you know, bounce ideas off of them, and do this and that, you know, that you would normally be able to do when it's not a COVID year. And it's just, oh, man. And I really do believe that hurt a lot of people, you know, in a way. But I mean, it didn't just stop with that, though. It encompassed the entire society, though, because a lot of people were not able to interact with each other, which was really increasing depression and all this other things that people battle with. You know what I mean? And making it worse. Whereas by bringing it back this year and so forth from here, you are able to strengthen the hearts of those people that are battling this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard countless stories of people just battling all kinds of issues. And to see this opportunity where you can interact with your favorite players and have them come visit you at hospitals and stuff like that, it just makes all the difference in the world. It reignites that fire, you know, to keep fighting and keep pounding, you know? And I love that. I love every bit of that. And I really, really sincerely do hope they keep doing this, man. Because that's beautiful. You know, so again, you know, this ain't just a snack trade. It's about way more than that. It really is. And props to the social media person on the Panthers page that has pointed this out. That figured this out, man. You know, that's what's up. Exactly. A memory that Mason and his family remember forever. Right there. That's what Cam gave these fans when he gave out these touchdown passes, these touchdown balls back in 15. He kept these fans coming back and staying loyal to this franchise and showing love. You know, even years after, they're still fans. They're still following this team. You know, and they got that special football sitting in their mantle place or wherever they keep it. You know? I mean, that's love right there. That's love. And Cam will say the same thing, bro. He'll say the same exact thing. Alright, so let's kind of break that that pass down right there, because I had a couple people show me this video, and they weren't sure. Okay, so let's look at this one. I kind of wanted to cover this, and if there's a way to slow this speed down on it, I don't think you can. Okay, so hand under the ball. Does the ball touch the ground? No. I'd say that's a catch. I'd say that's a catch right there. They took it away from him. There's a lot of people saying that that it wasn't a catch and the ball hit the ground, and they ruled it incomplete. Okay? But props to Shy for making this a reason to have controversy, in a positive way. And making a point that to the wide receivers that have the skills to keep their toes in bounds, as they're going out of bounds while making a catch. And you see that a lot in college football now. Some of the better teams that have been able to successfully do a lot of that are Oklahoma, Clemson, Alabama. All the major ones have taught their wide receivers, okay, let's push these boundaries. Let's see if we can make these spectacular catches. Let's make sure that we have our feet in bounds as we're catching it, and try to give people a reason to really slow down the camera and look, and show their athleticism while doing so. So, again, props to Jeremy Chan for making that look exciting enough to slow it down. And take a closer look at. I like it. So, Duke Dawson. I don't know much about this dude other than the fact that he was with the Denver Broncos. So let's find out what we're doing with here. And I'm going to look up his stats in just a minute. But we had a opening on our 90-man roster because Melvin retired. And J.C. Horn is on the PUP list still. Now, I heard something about Shaq being on that list as well. Is that true or no? Can anyone confirm that? Because I do remember them saying something about that on C3 last night. And I wanted to confirm whether that was legitimate or not. Because I didn't see him not run drills today. But I wasn't really focused on him, to be fair. I was focused on everything else. And like I said, the linebackers were quiet today. So, none of them really stood out. We got that thunder rolling in. That's why they changed that practice time from 7 p.m. tonight to 11 a.m. You can hear it in the background now. But, that's why we signed Duke Dawson. I don't think he made any plays today. But he was his former second-round pick of the Patriots. Interesting. Spent the last 3 seasons with the Broncos. And he was a college teammate of C.J. Henderson. Ooh. Okay. Okay, okay. I'll bite on that. Alright, so he's been in regular season games. And he's actually played against us. Alright. So I'm just kind of going through the pictures here. Okay. So that's him as a Patriot. Okay. Alright, let's look up his stats. I want to see his stats. Let me see the updated depth chart. I always check the updated depth chart after every practice just to see like if anybody made any changes. So far no. Doesn't look like it. Is his name gonna show up here? I'm not seeing it. And like I said, in day one stream, I didn't know anything about Mobley. And I give him some credit today for making a good play. I need to see more of Rambo. I need to see a little bit more of Parchment. I didn't see him today make any plays or in day one. So I really would like to learn more about these players that I don't know much about. Harper I did see today. I did point him out. Kalen Barnes I pointed out today. So I want to see more of Chris Westry. What can Chris Westry give us? You know? Let's see him make a play. And if you're a player and I'm calling out your name right now, that means I need to see what you're doing. You know? That means step up and make a play. You know, in the next training camp day that I will go out there and watch, which will probably be Tuesday. So, if you're one of those players that I just named, let's see what you got. Show up. You know, make your name heard. You know, in a very positive way, make your name heard. And if I happen to hear good things about you in the news on Monday, awesome. You know, I'll check it out. You know, and I'll give you your proper due when I watch these guys for myself in person too. I did shout out Andre Roberts as well today. So that's another name that was on my list that I haven't seen much of. And I did see Deontay Brown on the offensive line today, so he did pretty well. Who is Marquand McCall? I've never seen that name before. Or Drew Jordan. Those two are new names to me. Okay. And also, Kalan Tolson. I don't know anything about you either. So, show me something. You know? Let's see what you got. I am willing to check out any of these people, man. And I want to see them really push the boundaries, and I want to see them make plays in a positive way that gets the coach's attention and my attention as well, so that I can give them their proper credit on these streams and in these videos. You know, it's, if you impress me, I will promote you. I will vouch for you. Anybody throws shade in this chat, I will vouch for you. If you've done what you're supposed to be doing. Anybody that throws any kind of shade in any chat or any group, I will vouch. As far as what I've seen. If you make the plays. I would be more than happy to do so. But you gotta impress me, man. You gotta do the work. You gotta show up. You gotta make your name and your presence heard, man. In the right way. By making big plays, by getting the attention of the coaches, by doing whatever you gotta do, man, to try to make that 53-man roster. And you're already trying to do that anyway, so, why not have some YouTubers help you out, man? You know what I mean? Impress us too. So, we have a powerful voice out here, man. We could definitely promote some players. We could definitely get your names out there. Absolutely. I would love to be able to do that too. Anybody that wants it. You got to show it. You got to earn it with me, though. I'm going to try to tell you that. You got to earn it. I'm not just going to promote any random player just because you want your name promoted. And you want to try to make that 53. And you want to get the coach's attention. Nah. You got to earn it. You got to show me why I should promote you. I'm here for it, though. If you get it done, I'm here for it. So, some of that hustle, man. Right now, ESPN is projecting Baker as the starter. And I don't see any reason to dispute that right now. A little ways out from really heating up. You'll start to see it heat up towards days 6 and 7, I believe. 6, 7, and 8. Watch on those days. Because that would be after all the players have settled in. They're used to the pads. They've gotten used to the 98-degree weather, the heat with the pads on. The lines will be settled in. So the offensive lines will be working out their kinks on hand placement, foot placement, blocking, holding down gaps, whatever it may be that they have to do. So once you get all of that settled, then you'll start to see the quarterback battle heat up. Then you'll start to see the defensive pressure ramp up. Like it did a little bit today. To try to test these guys. And I can guarantee you, Wilkes was looking at these defensive players today and just said, okay, I want them to get a few easy reps in. Let's see how they do, without us putting pressure on them, early in the 7-on-7s. Then towards the end of it, I want y'all to ramp it up. I want y'all to push and put some heat on these guys. Let's see what they do. So that's exactly what they did in day 4. And I applaud Steve Wilkes for doing that, man. Because with or without pads, I wanted to see what these guys were made of. Can you handle the loud noise of the music? Can you handle, the pressure? Can you handle the heat that's getting thrown in your kitchen, man? How you want it, how you want your steaks made, man. We throwing that fire in that kitchen, man. You want it well done? With Sam Darnold, you go get it well done, because this dude can't handle the pressure. We've already seen that. I've already seen enough of that. As much as I want to see of that right there. What I was looking at was Baker Mayfield. Because I haven't seen that dude in action before. You know, under that kind of heat. That I saw today. Again, when you put Baker under that heat, you go see the same things that they were talking about on C3 last night. You know, he holds onto the ball too long. That internal clock issue. He rolls out too much. Not very decisive when throwing the ball. You know, all the things that the Browns fans were talking about. I saw them all. And I validated every one of them today. Now, how is that going to translate to the rest of the training camp days? How is that going to translate to preseason and regular season play? Well, if it becomes a bad habit like it did in Cleveland, then that's what you should expect to see in the regular season. Excuse me, I'm a little hungry, but if you see those things happen during regular season, it's not going to end well. You know, like our guy said, you know, Bozeman just said on Twitter during that interview after the practice today. Both of these quarterbacks are bringing the good and the bad with them. The good habits and the bad habits with them into this training camp. Whether they're from Cleveland, whether they're from here, wherever they came from. Anybody that is competing is bringing their good and bad habits. So, the question is, which habit are you going to feed as a player? Which one are you... Don't tell me which habit you're trying to feed. You know, because the answer is always going to be the same. It's always going to be a positive habit that you're trying to feed. Don't tell me that. What habit are you actually feeding on the field every time you go out there? Show us. You know, don't just talk the talk, man. Walk the walk. Show us what habits you're feeding. And if it's bad habits, then you know exactly where that road is going to lead to. It ain't going to end well for your hopes of making the 53 and staying on that 53. So, how does that quarterback battle translate so far to what we're going to be doing with this year? It's going to mean everything. It's leadership. You know, it's communication. It's the vibe, you know, of the team on offense. Because, and I normally say that Ryan Khalil was the anchor of the offensive line and the entire offense, really, when he was here. That was kind of a weird exception. You don't expect to see that happen from that is trying to keep their job, right? Or is attempting to succeed in their job, more specifically. So, when you go into a quarterback battle, you got to see leadership, number one, chemistry, number two, communication, number three, and cut the nonsense. You know? Cut the nonsense. Cut the unnecessary negative toxic thoughts out of your brain. Forget those bad plays and have a short memory. Then all it comes down to is your ability to win or lose. If you got the line, you have no excuse. If you don't have a line, yes, you have a crutch to lean on. Because that is the source of at least 3/4 of your problems right there. But when you do have an offensive line like we have this year, you don't have that crutch no more. When these guys stay healthy 75% of the year, you cannot lean on that crutch anymore. You either succeed or you fail. For the time that those 5 are in. Now, I'm not saying that the backups are going to help you that much. You know, in the offensive line. And I'm not saying lean on that crutch either. But you can't lean on that crutch with the starting 5. I know that much. Jeez, man. The thunderstorm ain't no joke out there. No wonder they moved the time. Alright. That was smart on their part. I give them credit. But yeah, that goes for both quarterbacks. That goes for Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. Neither one of them are going to have that crutch anymore this year with the starting 5 on the field. We will be rotating a lot. We'll be playing musical chairs with the offensive line again. You should expect that. As we are not completely confident with the second and third stringers. But we are confident with the starting 5. So, in order to keep a lot of these offensive linemen healthy, you're going to see a lot of rotation. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's healthy for us right now to keep these guys healthy on the field. And on the field for 75% of the year. Which is the goal right now. The realistic number of what you're going to see health-wise for this starting 5 rotation is probably going to be more like 65%, more like 60. You know, I don't expect much with our injury history being what it is. And especially with the turf, that number drops down to 55. You know, so... And we're not even talking snap counts at this point. We're just talking keeping these guys on the field. You know, rotation. So, you may see Cam Irving. You may see some of these guys you don't like this year. And, I mean, I'm not thrilled with that either. But, you know, it is what it is. You might see Michael Jordan. You might see, whoever we don't toss to the wind, you know. You might see Dennis Daly. You might see people you're not happy with out there this year just because we need to rotate, you know, to keep people healthy. And if you know you're not going anywhere in 2022, there is nothing wrong with that after the point where you know you're not making the playoffs. I am perfectly fine with that after that point to keep people healthy and keep them on our roster for next year. I'm 100% on board with that. But before that point, we don't want to do too much rotation because that's going to kill us. We got to keep these guys out there for as long as we can, you know, to help us win. And if you are one of those people that honestly believes that we're going to make the playoffs in a wild card position spot, which is the most realistic spot that we can make, it's got to be 9 or 10 wins, bare minimum, in order to be in the battle. Because we know we're not winning the division with the Buccaneers, with Tom Brady being who he is. And for anyone that thought that we could beat the Bucs, that was a fluke against the Saints last year. That was an absolute fluke where he scored no points. I don't know how that happened. Okay, I have zero explanation for that one. I would love to be able to tell you, but I have no explanation. But he just came out there dead during that game. I think that's a fluke, though. If you know Tom Brady, you're more than likely going to say that's a fluke. So, honestly, when he comes up against the Saints again, that's going to be a blowout. I can just see it already. And he comes up against us, it's going to be at least a 14-point loss. Even with our defense playing as well as they are. And our wide receivers stepping up as well as they are. The quarterback battle is going to matter at that point, and it's going to sink us. I don't see a way around it. Unless you guys can find a way around it, I don't see it. I love the optimism of people that are saying, oh, we're going to go 12 wins, or we're going to go 14-0, or whatever it is. I love the optimism. But let's get real here, man. Look at this schedule. Look at what we're playing against. You really think that's going to happen? Do you really think that's realistic? Come on. Come on. Take off the Panthers color glasses, man. Take off them Panthers color glasses and blindfolds, man. Let's get real, man. Anybody that thinks we can make the playoffs, those are the people I want to talk to. Because if Baker Mayfield really steps up in the way that I'm hoping he will, in the ways that Sam won't, then we can start to have that conversation a little bit. And really dive into it, in detail. With 9 or 10 wins on our radar. If you really, really strongly believe that we can make 9 or 10 wins, those are the people I want to discuss things with. Once Baker shows up and shows us what he can do. And I don't want another heartbreak like Sam Darnold, like Teddy Bridgewater, like Chris Winkie. None of these people, man. I don't want another heartbreak. Playoff people, come talk to me when Baker steps up, man. Then we'll have that conversation. But for right now, development. Drafting, free agency, contracts, development. Those are the conversations I want to have with people right now. Until that happens. You got to show me something. And granted, I've already predicted a 3-0 start. Okay? I've already predicted that 3-0 start. That's not what we're talking about here. Nah, dog. Look at these teams. Cleveland, if Baker steps up the way we think he will, count that as a win. Giants, count that as a win. Saints, in our own building, count that as a win. I'm not scared of Jameis Winston. That's a 3-0 start. Arizona is when things start to get a little hot. A little hot under the Brunson burner. You know what I mean? That's when you start to see who Baker really is during that game. And that's why they named it the Keep Pounding game, to honor Sam Mills. That's the time to put that phrase into full effect. Okay? If you're a player, if you're a coach, if you're an assistant coach, put that phrase into full practice if you want to win against that Arizona team. Okay, let's say Baker steps up, all right, and we win that Arizona game. We win against San Francisco the following week. That makes us 5-0 going into the Rams game, right? But that's a soft schedule in the first area there. That's a soft schedule. And don't try to tell me it isn't. Cleveland has fallen off the wagon wheels. That's soft. Giants have always been soft. New Orleans with Jameis Winston. They don't have Drew Brees anymore. They don't have all their main pieces that could really hurt us anymore. That's a soft team right there. That's going to be battling for wild card at the end of the year. Don't get it twisted. They will be in that wild card hunt. But early on, they ain't nothing to be scared of in our own building. Arizona doesn't have Wilkes as their head coach anymore. You know, they're kind of starting to fall off the wagon wheels too a little bit. You know, nobody's really that excited about Arizona. They're quietly getting their record over in the West, but nobody's really that excited about that roster. You know, they may have a few players that we need to watch out for, but, you know, again, soft. San Francisco, soft. Okay? So that's a soft 5-0 right there. And you go have everybody acting like, oh, the Panthers are so good this year. They're the best team ever. Again, look what happened last year. Look what happened last year. 3-0 soft start. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is what's about to happen. But the doubters don't want to listen to this. Once we hit the Rams, that's when it's going to hit the fan. Alright? That's when we're really going to get tested as a franchise. Who are we? And you're going to see our true colors come out. Because you know we're not winning that game. There ain't no way. And it's not going to look like a Dallas game last year. No. Rams beat us by 14. Rams beat us by 14. I'm calling that right now. I don't need a crystal ball to see that one. And that's just based on what I'm seeing right now. And that's even if we fully develop these guys in training camp and get a solid 53-man roster. They ain't solid enough to take on the Rams yet. Not even close. Same with Tom Brady and the Bucks. That's a loss. We get a soft Atlanta team. That's a win. Nobody's scared of the Falcons, man. Nobody. At this point. Unless you're a Lions fan. Unless you're a Lions fan. I don't want to hear the Falcons fans talk, man. Any trash. I don't want to hear any trash from the Falcons fans. You know, fix your team first, then we can talk trash. But in between those two Falcons games is a Super Bowl contender. They almost won the Super Bowl last year. Cincinnati. and we're playing them in Cincinnati. That's a loss. And I'm talking, even if Baker somehow turns it up, and becomes the guy, right? If Sam Darnold somehow breaks his class ceiling and becomes the guy, okay, either way, this is what this season's going to look like. Baltimore, in Baltimore, during this time of year at Week 11, is terrifying. Because they are starting their climb to take over that division. Battle for it and or make the wild card. If they don't make that. So, Baltimore is one of those teams you do not want to screw around with that time of year. Especially in their own stadium. They will bring the heat. They will bring everything in the kitchen sink to that game. So whoever we get as our starting quarterback, they better bring everything they've got in that game. And I mean everything. If you want to win that game. Otherwise, I don't see it. You better start looking like Cam Newton in his prime. Otherwise, we're in trouble. I don't think either one of them are on that level yet. I don't think they are. Not even close. Alright, so Denver is a soft team. Seattle, you could make an argument that we could beat Seattle. Nobody on that roster really scares me right now. But I would like to see somebody from the Seattle franchise, a representative of maybe one of their YouTube channels come on here and speak to us about what they have on their roster. Let's find out who these guys are. I'd be interested to find out and talk a little shop, on the stream. So if anybody wants to reach out, from Seattle, I'm down to talk to y'all. Any of these teams, man, come up on here, man. Welcome on. Reach out to me. We'll find a way to get you in here, man. And like I said, I welcome all 32 teams fans up in here. I know there's a lot of Panthers fans in here that are like diehard Panthers fans and just will not talk to or support any other team. And I mean, that's fair, Every team's got that in their fan base. But again, I as the host here for this YouTube channel would like to welcome anyone from any other team that would like to speak, I want to make sure your voices are heard. And we can learn as much as we can. And especially the newcomers to the game, I'd like them to be able to learn stuff too, Not just about us, but about other teams. And about how the game is played and, all the technical aspects of it. Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of YouTubers that just get into the technicals, and these people just get lost. I mean, fair enough, man. Fair enough. I expect that. That's why I'm trying to help everybody that wants to learn, that's basic level, that's bottom of the barrel level, learn more about how this is done. And to kind of give you a realistic approach, as far as what could actually happen and what does happen, So, again, going back through the schedule, that Seattle roster doesn't scare me at the moment. But, I mean, I'm going to be monitoring some of these players on that team and just seeing how they do. You know, stats-wise, on the field-wise. I'll even watch the Seattle game, you know, that's not being played against us. And we'll just see how they do. You know, I want to take a little notes on who they are. But right now, that could be a winnable game in Seattle. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been wishy-washy lately. They just recovered last year, so we'll see what happens. You know, I'm not... Even with Sam Darnold stepping up and Baker stepping up into that leadership role, I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm going to be real with you. I don't. Detroit's a soft schedule team, obviously. New Orleans is a soft schedule team. So Tampa Bay, that's a loss. I mean, so if you look at this roster all the way through and then try to compare it to what's on this list, yes, you could start to have that argument if Sam Darnold breaks his ceiling and starts to really ball out for that number one quarterback spot. But we have to consider three things. Number one, injuries history. We have a horrible history of injuries. Number two, our quarterbacks have absolutely struggled. And number three, we fall into these trap games every single year. And we lose them. Our trap record is not good at all. If you consider any trap games on our schedule winnable, we find ways to lose them. 9 times out of 10. So considering that, I want to bring up another good point. Hold up, y'all. Guys, I actually sent my man David here a picture of. Hold on, 1 second, y'all. This is what I want people to see. That is the most accurate prediction board I have seen so far. And credit to USA Today for this right here. I didn't post this yet, but I was going to. Do you guys remember how many wins I said that we were going to get? Max? Dead on the sticks. 7. Props to these people for actually doing proper due diligence and research, man. Respect to USA Today. I like these guys. And as much as I throw media under the bus a lot, you guys get credit for this. Full credit. So let's kind of go through this together, shall we? And this is even if we found Sam Darnold, you know, breaking his glass ceiling, or Baker becoming the man. 7 wins. Now, at least one of those losses that the Saints get is going to come from us. That's going to be one of those 8. 2 of those losses that the Falcons are going to get out of those 15 are going to come from us. Yeah. 2 of those wins that the Bucs are going to get are going to come from us. And it's going to be yet another interesting battle here in the NFC East. 11-6 Eagles, Cowboys 10-7, Washington 7-10 in the wild card race, or maybe just outside of it, because they were just outside of it last year, as I remember. So, the Cowboys fans are going to be talking a lot of junk this year. I got a feeling. But they'll be talking most of that junk to the Eagles fans. So we won't have to really worry about that because they're not on our schedule. Obviously, Bears are going to be at the bottom of the division. Giants are going to be at the bottom of the division. Jets are going to be at the bottom of the division. And Broncos. Clearly. You know, and Texans as well. That doesn't surprise me. Now, Seattle could make a run. Depending on what's in that roster. I don't know what's in that roster, so I can't exactly... You know, that's truly worrisome. But I don't really want to push that right now. Either way, you know, Arizona and Seattle are not going to be in that race. I can see that right now. Niners, even though I called them a soft team, they're still going to get 10 wins. You know, they're still going to be in the wild card race. Might be between 8 and 10. You know, we'll see. Because that's typically what's been going on with them. The Lions, hold on. I gotta bring it back up. The Lions 8-9. Yeah. I could see them getting a couple more wins than they're supposed to be getting. I could see that. I could definitely see Green Bay getting 11. Possibly 12 wins again. Rams 12-5. I could definitely see that. You know, of course, there is always that surprise team in the NFC East that, or the NFC that you don't expect to rise up and do something. But this year, I'm going to count that as Seattle. I'm going to call out Seattle for that one. Because I think they're going to be the one that surprises everybody and gets more than just the 5 wins that everybody's calling on. But it'll be outside of the division. And I think one of those wins is probably... it could be against maybe a lower level Vikings team. Could be against the Eagles. Could be against Washington. I don't know who's on their schedule right now. But it won't be division. I can guarantee you that. So let's look at the AFC now. You got the Dolphins sitting at 9-8 again, which doesn't surprise me. You know, you got Tannehill's doing a really good job in Miami right now. He's got a couple of weapons, but they're just not giving him enough, you know, to work with to get the Dolphins to the next level. So the Patriots will get that wild card push again. The Bills are a complete team right now. They haven't lost anybody really. So they're going to be battling again for a Super Bowl berth. They are a Super Bowl contender as far as I'm concerned right now. who people are not going to expect to push 10 or 11 wins. And the reason I say that is because Matty Ice. If you've been paying attention to Matt Ryan, when he has a line, it is truly terrifying what this man is capable of when he's got weapons and a line. And he has both in Indianapolis. Now, how good is that Colts defense? That is why they're sitting at 9-8 on this board. They could be sitting 10-7. That's a possibility. That is a strong possibility. But right now, 9-8 sounds fair. Because that Colts defense needs a lot of work. And I don't think that offseason really solved that problem fully. You go to the Steelers 9-8, that sounds about right. They're flip-flopping and they'll probably end up in the middle this year. 6-11, Browns are going to take a dive. You know, not a surprise there. Baltimore and Cincinnati are going to be playing for that division title. And that could go back and forth depending on what happens. Especially in Baltimore. The games that are in Baltimore between these two, the Ravens are probably going to win those. I'm just straight up telling you now. Unless those two face off early in the year, then I can see the Bengals having an edge. But right now, if it's late in the season and they're battling for a division titles, the division lead, Ravens have the advantage. Alright, so you look at the Titans. The Titans are starting to get a little bit revved up here. 8-9. Sounds about right. Now the Jags. The Jags offense is something I want people to pay attention to. And the reason being is you're starting to see Trevor Lawrence and Etienne both healthy and both playing at full potential now. And if anyone's been paying attention to Clemson and their national title run with both of those players on it, they already know what this chemistry looks like. They already know how dangerous it can be. And they can take that chemistry to the next level and succeed with it. I absolutely believe that. And you're going to start to see it. So Urban Meyer was wise to draft both of them together. You know, as a package in the first round. That was really, really smart. So we're going to see that happen. No doubt. Again, Broncos sitting at the bottom of the division. Jets sitting at the bottom of the division. Texans sitting at the bottom of the division. Texans have been really in with everything going on. Jets are, well, the Jets. So, what that leaves is a competition here in the West for your AFC opponent for the AFC Championship that would battle the Bills if the Patriots don't get in, or the Bengals don't get up there and surprise everybody again. It's going to be between the Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders. Again, these three have been brutally battling it out for this AFC West for years. I mean, it's been a nasty battle. And it changes every year. You don't know who's going to win that thing. I mean, each one of these three teams has at least 12 division titles. And that includes the Broncos when you include John Elway in there from the early days. But as of recently, you're talking like these three are your main three right now. Raiders will definitely be in the wild card race, if not in second position. They've got a lot of talent on that team, and they've got a lot of weapons on that team. One of them is Hunter Renfrow from Clemson. I've mentioned him before. And I'm going to mention, Clemson and South Carolina players, people from the states of the Carolinas, because I want people to recognize, these are where these players came from, and they're very, very dangerous players on these rosters. So, that being said, this is going to be another brutal battle between these three. And we're going to see... Everybody's going to be on the edge of their seat watching to see what happens there. The outside of the division wins are what's going to determine what happens. Because they trade off often inside of the division. Very often, as a matter of fact. When you talk about the Raiders, do I believe Derek Carr is the guy? Yes. Absolutely. Derek Carr is the guy. And I think he's the one that's keeping them afloat right now with all the weapons that they have on offense. That could still be improved upon, But it's mainly the Raiders' defense that has kept them in that race. Just keep making moves, and it just keeps becoming this three-way battle between them. And occasionally you'll see the Broncos rise back up again. But as of lately, that's what we're looking at. So frankly, this is the most accurate board I've seen so far. That's how I feel about it. Maybe you guys feel differently, but you guys take a screenshot of it, take a look at it in the VOD, and see what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm going to post it in a little bit, and I want your opinions on it. And if you're watching on the stream, go for it. Throw your opinions out there. I want to hear what you have to say. Is that accurate? That being said, let's see. What went on during days 2 and 3 that mattered? There anything major? Brian Burns working to lead the defense from good to great. Baker Mayfield makes his debut. Impact. Okay, 28th. There we go. Let's see it. Brian Burns talking a lot about becoming a normal morning person. Okay. Brian says Iquanu has a lot of things to work on, but he's been impressed with his intensity. Okay, that's interesting. Iquanu doesn't mind competing for the left tackle starting job with Brady Christensen, saying it will push me to the best player I could be. Yes. 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 That's what we need to see right there. Let those two battle each other. Let those two throw down, man, for that number 1 spot. I want to see it. Okay. Icky speaks to the media. I want to hear this. What you got for us, Icky?
First camp, what's the adjustment been like the first 2 days out here?
That's definitely been good. Obviously having the rookie mini camp and OTAs and the whole Phase 2 and Phase 3 program has helped a lot in my development. I feel like definitely been a good couple of days and looking forward to the rest of camp.
You had some condition goals and things you wanted to be ready for camp. How do you think you did with all that?
Oh yeah, I feel like I did. I did well. Passed the conditioning test with flying colors. If you ask Coach Scott, so I feel like definitely getting back into football shape. It's a little bit different than wind sprints and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like this acclimation period is going to be real good for me.
What's like wearing those Guardian caps? Just curious.
Shoot, me, I got to deal with safer Protect, so I got to shout them out real quick. I don't mind the Guardian, but I'm a safer man. But definitely been good. I'm glad that the NFL is taking steps, towards player safety and everything.
You feel more top heavy? Is it weird you're not even noticing on you?
No, I don't really notice something to be real.
When there's so much attention to the quarterback position and the battle that's going on, is it tough for you to kind of ignore what's going on behind you, not be cognizant of like looking around? Is it 14? Is it 6? Who's behind me right now? What's that like for you?
It hasn't really been a problem for me. I trust whoever's back there is going to do the job that they need to do. I trust all the quarterbacks. So whoever they put back there, my job is to block. So that's what I'm going to do.
You excited for Monday?
Good answer.
And get violent?
That's a good answer. Take that neutral approach right there. If you're Icky, I'm with it. Whoever's back behind center, man, you just got to trust that they get the job done. Period. Point blank. And, it's not your job to be like, oh, well, this quarterback's better or this quarterback's better because X, Y, Z. And Bozeman said the same thing. Just in a different way. It's not your job, and to say all that stuff, it's the coach's job. So he just said, my job is to go out here and work, just do what I do, because I'm an offensive lineman. I block. That's what I do. So I respect it. Good answer.
Very excited, very excited. That 9-on-7 drill, inside drill, something I'm excited for. Love that competition aspect of it, and that's something that you can't really get when you're just in Jersey. So definitely excited.
Ooh, inside drills, huh? Okay.
They both got leadership qualities. I don't really know if like the differences between the two yet. I'm still getting used to both of them, but definitely just excited to have both those guys back there.
Where do you find yourself lining up the most?
Right.
Like, where do you feel most comfortable?
I've been a left tackle pretty much all of camp, so I'm definitely comfortable there. I played that in college, played that in high school as well, so I feel comfortable at left tackle. But I always said, I can swing both sides. I feel like if a coach needs me to play somewhere or bump inside, I'll be willing to do it. Yeah, it's been great. That's something that we harped on the first day of practice. There's competition every room here. So really, just the competition is going to bring the best out of every player that's out here. So I'm excited for that. Pushes me to be the best player I can be.
With the potential to have 4 new starters on the offensive line, who are you guys kind of leaning on in that room, and what are you taking?
Well, for me, I'm talking to all the best, everybody I can. We got a lot of guys with experience. Corbett, Timo, Brady, Bozeman, Chris Irvin. So. Cam Irvin, excuse me. So just everyone out there, that I can just pick their brain and just get as much experience as I can. I'm definitely going to be in their ear.
Is there a sense
Good.
of pride within you guys saying, the line you obviously weren't part of it last year, you know, stock, are you guys kind of going in there saying, we want to be good this year, we want to be better than what they did?
I feel like I say so. I feel like as an offensive lineman, giving up a sack period is something that it hurts you to the core. So I feel like anytime that you can alleviate that, anytime that you can work towards, being the best in the pass protection that you can be, you're going to take those steps to do it.
Absolutely.
When's the last time you rep that guard
Probably last summer, I think. Honestly, I'm not really sure, but.
Anything about camp that you
Can I just take a second and say, whoever's running these mics and whoever's mixing this, man, please fix this, man. For real. Please fix this. Because, number one, we can never hear any of these questions from the media people. Like, it's very rare. In most of these pressers, man. And, secondly, that mic is crackling, man. More... Bruh. That mic is crackling more than Rice Krispies cereal, man. He's crackling more than Rice Krispies cereal. Man, fix that. Listen to that.
Honestly, no. I mean, I didn't know Walker had this many fields back here. It's kind of hidden back in the corner. That's probably the only thing that surprised me a little bit. But other than that, you know, it's the same playbook we were learning in Phase 2, Phase 3. There's a lot of the same players that are out here. So really just getting used to the playbook and getting used to the team. But the only thing. What else?
What are you making my boy sound like he's in a video game or something, man? Listen to that mic, bro. Oh my god. What are you making that boy sound like he in a video game? Oh my god. This mic is awful.
The game rep at guard, probably 2020. I did have to sing. I sang It's So Hard to Say Goodbye by Boyz II Men. Got some applause, so I feel like I killed it. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe someone's back there standing. I was just trying to get off stage if I'm being real with you, but can't do it. that's team only. That's team only. Team only, yeah. How do you... Shoot, there was only one of the rookie that went. He sang My Boo by Usher. Solid. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see as the week goes on who else gets to get up there and sing. But
Have you had the opportunity to that you and Brian and some other backup?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, throughout Phase 2, Phase 3, you know, I went up against Burns and excuse me, Burns and Utor and some of the other guys. So definitely, you know, excited to get to go up against them even more because you know some of the best in the league. You know, speed rush rides and power rush rides and just some of the best pass rushers that we got. So I'm really excited for that.
Has anyone gotten in your ear where you feel like a rookie and started trash talking on the field yet?
I'm gonna keep that, man. I'm gonna keep that at house, you know. But
there we go.
Anytime someone wants to talk, I'll talk right back. That's part of the competition of it. It's part of the reason I love the game of football. It's some of that back and forth. But you know, obviously when we get in the locker room, it's like we're brothers again. So definitely fun.
When you hear Dante go after Robbie like he did, I don't know if you caught that. You want to kind of step in for Robbie a little
Shoot,
bit?
I mean that's competition. I ain't see that, but I mean anytime we're chirping back and forth, you know, it's just the emotions of the game, you know. And this is an emotional game. It's a physical game, and sometimes it's come out. And I don't really think that there's a problem with that at all.
Nope.
You made this.
I agree.
I know it's a process. And they're kind of rolling guys right now.
A little bit of that is healthy.
Do you feel like they, and maybe this is the way you expected, that they're going to make you kind of earn that left side of the spot?
I mean, definitely. You know, like I said earlier, there's competition in every room, so everyone has to earn that right to be out there week one. And you know, myself included, regardless of draft status or vet status, you know, everyone got to earn their spot. So I'm just looking forward to each and every day earning my spot.
Do you think
That's the way it is.
separation will occur, like when the pads come on?
Well, it should be.
Sure, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure. I can only speak to me. You know, obviously, I love that physicality of the game. That's one of my biggest strengths even coming in here. So when the pads come on, you know, I'm going to be a different animal. So I can only speak about me.
Being a Charlotte native, did you ever make it to Panthers camp as a kid?
No, actually, I never did. Yeah, I never came down to Wofford. I only came to Wofford a couple times for a basketball team camp. That was JV though, but I did average a double-double, so there's that.
All right, good push then. Thank you, brother.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Jay. You hear about his double.
Alright, so. That was Icky. I was kind of curious to see what he had to say. Dante Jackson on the new secondary coach, Steve Wilkes. He's a true dog. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I've been trying to tell y'all. Steve Wilkes don't mess around. His biggest strengths are discipline, footwork, technicality, and consistency. Steve Wilkes does not screw around. And if you're a newbie on this team and you've never run into Steve Wilkes at all, well, you in for it. You in for it. I can tell you that right now. Because this man don't mess around. He wants you to win. He wants you to progress. He wants you to iron out all that nonsense, out of your game. And put in positive stuff, man. Steve Wilkes is the real deal. So, yeah. Dante Jackson's right, man. He's a dog. He is for real. We're definitely better on the offensive line. That's development of the existing guys and newcomers, but it's a noticeable difference. They're still working through the plan on quarterback reps. May start mixing them in rather than one guy taking all of his with the ones and twos. Okay. Biggest offensive play of camp so far, Baker Mayfield rolls left, finds DJ Moore, who makes a nice adjustment to grab the ball at 40 yards downfield. Moore has a very nice day. Yep, I can see it. Practicing with DJ Moore gives any quarterback a chance to look better. That's so true. Strike to DJ. He throws fastballs. Another one, more dunks. Okay, maybe finger rolls over the crossbar. A couple of dropped interceptions so far. 7-on-7s. Dante Jackson could have had one off Baker Mayfield, and Julian Stanford off Sam Darnold. Okay, I didn't know about the Stanford one off Sam Darnold. That's a new one to me. That was day 2. So, Baker Mayfield threw 2 near interceptions. Dante Jackson weighs 7-on-7. Could really tell Jackson wanted them. He hit his hands against his helmet after the second one grazed his hands. Yeah, true. True. Dante Jackson drops a pick at 7-on-7. Again, you can tell he really wanted it. Then one goes off Julian Stanford's hands. Okay. Terrence Marshall drill. Okay, let's look at this. Look at those hands. Look at those hands from my guy right here. Let's run this back. Hold up. Let's run this back. Look at the height of this jump right here. I want y'all to see how high that ball is. How high he's going up for this thing. Lands it, gets 2 feet in. Make sure he gets those 2 feet at the end of the end zone right there. Excellent job. Real happy with that right there. Here's the icky drill right here. Let's take a look.
Meet him. Boom. Left, to your right. There you go. Good elbow. Good elbow.
And you notice him say good elbows. Little things, that this new offensive line coach is giving us is technical skills.
Meet him.
Look at the point of attack here. And you'll notice his feet are still moving as he's going into the point of attack.
Move. Left.
And look at the push he's getting. You know, that's where those elbows tucked in and not like up in the air, not down here, not over here, not over here, but up right where they're supposed to be, right there at the center of the chest. That is how you get your push.
You're right. There you go. Good elbow.
Because if those hands go up, the defender can knock it down. If those hands go down, defender can knock it down. Mostly, if the elbows are up, defender can get an edge on you. You do not want to lose your hand placement, or that defender will get those hands up, and that ball will be deflected. As you saw 3 times today. So, I'm not sure if that was more the offensive lineman's fault today, or if that was PJ's fault today. But I was not thrilled with the fact that we had about 4 or 5 of those balls that never made it past the offensive line. And it made me just sit there and go, you know what I mean? Not good. Alright, so quarterbacks and J.J. Jensen, Tommy Tremble. QB walk-on notables. Matt Corral is the first QB on the field again, though he was beat for his first overall by running back Spencer Brown. So Spencer Brown was out there before he was. Okay. Sam Darnold was up next. Received some cheers from fans. And then Baker walked out alongside Dante Freeman. Matt Corral is apparently going to be an early guy. Okay. And that's the most recent tweets. Alright, so I would say we're pretty much caught up. Unless anybody has any info from days 2 or 3 that they'd like to share that I don't know about. Right now, that's what the media is giving us. So I can only go by what the media is giving us right now. I'm going to check one other thing. Okay, that's 28th, right? We got the Matt Corral deal done. Live updates 28th. Okay. Live updates 29th. Alright, let's do the live updates for 29th. Because I was not there for the 29th. I was there for today's. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to let this load up. Then we're going to take a look at these. After day 3. On the 3rd day of camp, the offense tallied one of the first big plays at Wofford when TMJ brought in a deep pass from Sam Darnold during a 7-on-7. Matt Rule has said that it's all about execution. Are the guys doing the right things in full speed? Then execution leads to production. I love saying moo, make a play. Is that what we're calling him now? We calling him moo? He's not a cow. Come on, Matt. He's not a cow. Murr. My dude is not a cow. We're not on a farm, bro. Man, quit calling him that. Golly. Alright, but let's take a look at this practice highlight, though. What a catch. Okay. Okay, TMJ. That's what we like to see right there. Look at that right there. Look at those hands. That's magic hands. And not only did he make that catch yesterday, but he followed that up with more catches today. I mean, that's what you want to see right there. That is progress. That is how you get on a roster. That is how you compete for a starting job at some point down the road. Because I got a feeling Robbie's not going to be here forever. I just got that feeling, guys. The way he's been talking junk and just being toxic this offseason. Boy, howdy. I'll tell you, his days in Carolina are numbered if he keeps this up. And TMJ's ready. He's ready to take over. Matt Rule says that we kind of dialed the reps down. We've been playing so hard, the reps were high, and the GPS was high. It's great that you made a play as a result. Marshall was partially hampered by injuries in his rookie season. Finished the first year with 17 receptions for 138 yards. He appeared in 13 games, started 3, most of which of his production, including his longest catch, 23-yarder in week 3, came in front end of last season. In pulling down the longest competition since the start of camp, Marshall is still playing hard and looking to make a splash. And he absolutely did so far. You know, TMJ, man, if you want me to push you, man, let me know. Let me know on Twitter, man. I got you, bro. I'll push you because people are starting to really look at you right now. But realistically, though, I don't think he needs it. I don't think he needs it, though. One thing about Christian is no matter what we try to do, his GPS numbers are always going to come out the way at the very top because of the way he plays. And that's Christian McCaffrey. And my question here is what does GPS numbers mean? So if anybody has an answer for that question, I would like to know. You know, what does that GPS stand for? I'm interested. Because I don't know. I think Dante had a great spring. He looks the same now. He does a great job of getting downhill, being that physical runner. Chuba the same thing in the last year. His body balance and has really improved. His special teams value is high, so we'll use all three guys. They're going to use all three starters in Friday's practice. Okay. Now, I don't want to hear Robbie Anderson's press conference. I don't. It's just going to be a clown show. It really is. I'm not even going to waste time on that. There's no point. Shi Smith making an impressive looking but disputed catch. Okay, that was that one we saw a highlight of earlier. Rolled a touchdown. After the defense was flagged for a penalty for kicking the ball in frustration. Okay, let's not do that, guys. Let's not do that. When Mayfield got a shot with the second offense, he moved him into position for a long field goal, though there were a few stumbles, literally. He bobbled one step and had to scramble to get out of bounds, but completed a few nice balls and was able to spike to stop the clock for Zane. The thing is, we don't want to settle for field goals anymore. I mean, I preached on this last year. A lot. We don't want to settle for field goals anymore. Field goals do not win many games. You got to have touchdowns. So I got to see those bobbles get fixed. I got to see those scrambles turn into good passes. You know, I got to see something out of this, you know. But I do approve of the spike, you know, when necessary during games. So we got to learn how to spike and stop the clock. You know, how quickly did you spike it, though? All right. Rule said that while practice is generally scripted, offense coordinator Ben was calling the plays during the end of the half segment. Okay. Former defensive coordinator Mike was in the crowd for practice and spent a few moments catching up with one of his best players, assistant manager Dan Morgan. Trugovac's daughter Jordan now works as part of the scouting staff. Okay. Panthers worked out some corners after practice. They consider adding depth there with J.C. Horn. Okay. So, obviously the guy that we signed was one of the corners that they worked out. I'd be interested to see, like, what other corners that we worked out. Just out of curiosity. But, okay. That's what we're doing with here. Yeah, Duke Dawson was one of those corners that got worked out. So, I'm curious to see what the other ones were. Also, I apologize for anything that was not on stream that I talked about, you know, because I didn't realize the stream restarted. Sorry, my bad. About 48 minutes ago. So whatever y'all missed, I apologize. Just let me know in the comments, and you know, where the cutoff was and what you want me, what I was talking about at the time, and I'll talk about that in the next stream. Sound good? That being said, I don't know that we really need to cover anything else at the moment. Unless there are more things to discuss. Then I'm going to let this stream be that right there. Media credentials. Dylan, August 1st, 5th. Okay. Alright, I'm going to look into this privately off stream. Alright, cool. That being said, let's go ahead and call this a stream, shall we? I don't think there's anything else left to discuss. You know, if there is, drop it in the comments below, and we'll cover it in the next stream that we do. Also, shout out to all the YouTubers that I was in the call with last night with C3. Love all of you, and I'm giving all of you a follow and a subscribe. And I'm hitting that subscribe button for all of you. Or follow button, depending on where you are on your social media pages. And any of you or any of you that wish to jump on this stream, any of you or all of you that wish to jump on this stream, please do. Let me know. Drop me a message. If I could find my words today. If I could find my words, that would be great. Yeah, so any of you, just drop me a message, drop me a comment, or a private message chat, or in the YouTube comments on any of the videos. I'll see those. Alright, guys. Take it easy. And of course, as always, keep pounding.
Look at yourself.
Alright.
Worrying about music licensing. What you need is an art.
Keep pounding, guys.